I have created the greatest duo that the NHL has ever seen. That is right, boys. This duo is going to absolutely take over the league and dominate for the next 10 years. Now, obviously, they're going to be on the same exact team. They're also going to be sleeping in the same exact bed. These guys are fraternal twins, so they have to be together all the time. So without further ado, let me introduce to you the greatest duo in NHL history. All right, so first up, we have none other than Mr. Bendover. We all know his name already. He's been in multiple videos on my channel. We pretty much know everything about him. He's a 99 across the board, the greatest hockey player of all time. And for his partner in crime, the duo of the century, it's going to be none other than Brick Wall. That is right, boys. Very original names, I know. He is also a 99 overall with 99s across the board. Probably the greatest goaltender that has ever lived. Maybe Pekka Pasta has something to say about it, but you cannot go wrong with Brick Wall. And of course, these guys are going to be playing on the Chicago Blackhawks because they're not a very good team in real life. They're also pretty young, so that aligns just perfectly alongside Connor Bedard, Korchinski on D there. So hopefully we can see this team grow into Stanley Cup contenders and dominate the NHL for the next 10 seasons. So without wasting any more time, let's head right into the simulation. 10 years on the Chicago Blackhawks with the duo of Bendover and Brick Wall. If you guys do enjoy videos like this, make sure you leave a like and subscribe to the channel. I also live stream pretty much every second day. Turn the bell notification on so you don't miss a single live stream or video on the channel. So at the end of the very first season, the Chicago Blackhawks are going to be the second best team in the Central as we go 44, 30, and 8. Good enough for 96 points on the season. So a very good first season together as the greatest duo. We would also end up finishing as the 8th best team in the entire league, as Colorado was the best, winning 57 games, followed by Carolina, Ottawa, Boston, Detroit, Toronto, and Vegas. Now at the bottom, we have the New York Islanders, Seattle Kraken. The Rangers somehow didn't simulate very well. Usually they do. Now in his very first season in the NHL, Bendover is going to score 75 goals and 152 points, basically matching what McDavid did last year, but even better considering he scored 75 goals, followed by Connor Bedard's 85 and 24 goals. Taylor Hall had 84, Radish 49, Corey Perry 48, was a minus 14 though. Now for our goalie, Brick Wall, he went 32, 24, and 5, only 4 shutouts, and honestly, not the greatest stats in the world. I mean, I guess our defense wasn't the greatest, but only 4 shutouts. Now for the entire NHL, obviously Ben is going to lead in goals with 75 and points with 152, followed by Nathan McKinnon's 112. Cale Makar was up there with 109, Pasta had 106, McDavid 99, Rantanen 99 as well. William Nylander was up there with 96. Now for goals in the NHL, other than Ben, McKinnon had the most at 56, followed by Marchand's 51, Kucherov at 49, McDavid 44, Ovi was up there, Rantanen, Matthews, Kaprizov. And for wins, Alexander Georgiev is going to win 51 games. Obviously, Brick Wall was nowhere to be found. For shutouts in the entire NHL, Carter Hart's going to have the most at 8, Vanacek had 7, Gibson 7. Where the hell was Brick Wall? Brick Wall was way down there with 4. Yeah, he was not even close to the best goalie in the entire NHL this season. Now, in the first round of the playoffs, the Chicago Blackhawks are going to play the Minnesota Wild. Sadly, we would end up losing to the Minnesota Wild in the very first round in 6 games, as the Red Wings are going to go on and defeat the defending champion Golden Knights in 5 games in the Stanley Cup final. Now, of course, for the playoffs in the very first round, Bendover is going to do his thing, 5 goals and 8 points. He was a -1 though. Bedard had 3 goals and 5 points. What did Brick Wall do here? He went 2, 3, and 1, no shutouts, and pretty decent stats, I guess. Of course, Bendover is going to take home the Selke, Ted Lindsay, Maurice Richard, Art Ross, and Hart Trophy. The Norris is going to go to Cale Makar. The Lady Byng also to Makar. The Calder is going to go to Bendover. The Conn Smythe to Dylan Larkin. And the Vezina is going to go to Tristan Jarry. So Bendover is still obviously a 99 overall. Connor Bedard now is up to a 90. Evan Korchinski's up to an 82. Obviously in goal, Brick Wall is still a 99 as their starter. So hopefully we improve off of last season and have a deep playoff run. Also, I am going to be giving Bendover the captaincy. Bedard, you can get an A, buddy, and Kevin Korchinski can also get an A on D. So the Chicago Blackhawks are going to improve off of last season as we are the best team in the Central, going 47, 25, and 10. Good enough for 104 points on the season. We would also end up finishing as the 4th best team in the entire NHL behind Toronto, Carolina, and Vegas, who won 53 games. At the bottom, we have Philadelphia, Nashville, San Jose, Calgary, and Pittsburgh. Bendover is going to take a slight step back as he only scored 53 goals and 117 points, followed by David Perron, who had 96, 84 overall. I guess we picked him up in the offseason or at the trade deadline or something. I don't understand. 84 overall overall, 36 years old. Jeff Carter had 79, Radish 76, Bedard only had 75, a step back from last season, only 29 goals as well. Taylor Hall had 73. Now for goalies, Brick Wall is going to go 39, 23, and 5, 3 shutouts and mediocre stats. I mean, Bendover is still going to lead in points with 117, followed by Joe Pavelski's 98, Perron had 96, Matthews 95, Tim Robertson was up there, Marchand, Kaprizov, Eichel. Now for goals, Alexander Ovechkin is going to lead with 56, followed by Bendover's 53, Cooch had 52, Matthews was up there, Marchand, Robertson, Stammer. Brick Wall is going to finish third in wins, only behind Freddie Anderson and Spencer Knight. And in the first round of the playoffs, Chicago is going to play the St. Louis Blues. Historically, Chicago has kind of owned St. Louis in the playoffs, at least in the 2010s. Sadly, we are going to end up getting swept by the Edmonton Oilers in the conference finals as they go on and defeat Florida in Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals. McDavid finally gets the Stanley Cup. Now for our playoff run, Bendover is only going to have 7 goals and 18 points in 14 games played. David Perron had 16, Taylor Radish 12, Bedard only 1 goal and 11 points, also a -3. Brick Wall is going to go 8-5-1, 1 shutout, and honestly pretty good stats. I mean, his save percentage is a .922, which is very good. Bendover is going to take home the Selke, Ted Lindsay, Art Ross, and Hart Trophy, while the Maurice Richard is going to go to Ovechkin. The Norris yet again to Cale Makar, the Lady Byng to Kaprizov, and the Conn Smythe is going to go to Connor McDavid. The Vezina to Philip Gustafson. Now, obviously, Bendover is still a 99 overall. Bedard is up to a 94, and David Perron at age 37 is up to an 89 overall after the fantastic season that he had last year. And what a first line we have going here with Bendover, Bedard, and Perron. And of course, Brick Wall still a 99 as well. On defense, did we pick anybody up? Korchinski's up to an 85. Jones is an 87. Chicago is going to continue to dominate the regular season as yet again we are the best team in the Pacific. Actually, the Central, my bad. Have I been saying the Pacific Division this entire time? We are going to end up going 52, 24, and 6, good enough for 110 points on the season. And we would also end up being the best team in the entire NHL, followed by the Oilers, Carolina, Tampa Bay, and Toronto. Bendover is going to have a bounce back season, scoring 79 goals and 146 points, followed by David Perron's 99. What is going on with this man right now? Back-to-back 90-point seasons, and now at the age of 37, he's going to play his best hockey of his entire career. Followed by Connor Bedard's 92 and 39 goals. Jeff Carter had 79, Radish 69, Hall 67. Now Brick Wall is going to go 41, 19, and 4. Only 1 shutout and not the greatest season overall. Yet again, Ben is going to lead in goals with 79 and points with 146, followed by Kucherov's 122. Braden Point had 108, Matthews 104, McDavid 101, and Nylander 100. Now for goals, other than Bendover, Ovi's going to have the most at 65, followed by Kucherov's 56. Matthews was up there. Svechnikov had a good season. Evgeny Malkin had 47 goals, and Matthew Tkachuk 45. Brick Wall is actually not even going to have the most wins. It would be Sergei Bobrovsky with 45 on the Edmonton Oilers. And in the first round of the playoffs, Chicago is going to play the Flames. And finally, the Chicago Blackhawks have made the Stanley Cup final with Brick Wall, Bendover, and of course, Connor Bedard. Let's see if we can go on and win our very first Stanley Cup with the dynamic duo of Brick Wall and Bendover. And the Chicago Blackhawks have done it. They have gone on to win their very first Stanley Cup since 2015. Also, their very first Stanley Cup in the Brick Wall and Bendover era, as it has just begun here in the Windy City, winning our very first Stanley Cup. Trust me, boys, there is many more to come. This is only the beginning as we defeat the Florida Panthers in 6 games in the Stanley Cup Finals. Now, the Conn Smythe is going to go to none other than Bendover. 29 goals and 41 points. Absolutely insane. And there it is, the Stanley Cup being raised in Sunrise, Florida. Hey, at least we get to wake up tomorrow on the beach in Florida with a Stanley Cup there, buried in the sand. Bury our dicks in the sand as well. Hey, yo, what? Here's our captain, Mr. Bendover, coming to lift the Stanley Cup for the very first time in his NHL career. And of course, you already know who he's going to pass it off to first. It's going to be his partner in crime, Mr. Brick Wall, our goalie, our starting goalie, of course, 99 overall. I don't even know how many games he stole for us in the playoffs, but I bet it was a lot. I don't know why he's wearing number 2. I guess number 1 was retired by Chicago. I didn't even know that, but There he is, Stanley Cup champions. Now for the entire playoff run, of course, Bendover, 29 goals, 41 points. Bedard had 14 goals and 29 points. David Perron was pretty good as well. Taylor Raddysh, Jeff Carter. Now for Brick Wall, he's going to go 16-6-0. No shutouts, but pretty good overall stats. I mean, a 924 save percentage is pretty good in the playoffs. Yet again, Ben is going to take home all the major individual awards. The Norris to Quinn Hughes, Lady Bing to Kucherov, the Conn Smythe, of course, also to Ben. The Vezina to Ville Husso, and the Selke is going to go to Sidney Crosby of the Pittsburgh Penguins. Connor Bedard now is up to a 96 overall. Ben, of course, still 99. Perron is still kicking at 87. Who the hell is this? Brian Martins, 20 years old, 90 overall. Did we select him first overall in the 2024 draft? Oh my god, this team is going to be an absolute juggernaut of a dynasty for the next, like, what, 7 more years I think we got left. Defensively, Korchinski's got a little better in goal. Brick Wall is dropped down to a 98 overall, not a 99 anymore. I don't know why. He had probably the best season of his career so far. Actually, I mean, in the regular season, he wasn't that good, but in the playoffs, he was good, and he won a Stanley Cup. So the Chicago Blackhawks are going to dominate the NHL, tying the Boston Bruins for the most wins in NHL history at 65, as we also lose 14 games, 3 in overtime. Good enough for 133 points on the season. My God, what a record for the Blackhawks. Obviously the best team in the NHL. It was not even close. Followed by Anaheim, Toronto, Dallas, Tampa Bay, and New Jersey. Ben is going to continue to dominate as he scores 88 goals and 171 points. Followed by David Perron's 125. Bedard had 124. Martins had 105. This is the greatest offense in the history of the NHL. I am so surprised by David Perron. Like, what is going on here? Brick Wall is going to go 50, 11, and 3, 5 shutouts, and very good stats across the board for the season. For the entire NHL, Ben is going to lead in goals with 88 and points of 171, followed by Perron, Bedard, Martins, Kucherov. Braden Point was up there, McKinnon, and Jack Hughes. Now for goals, Ovechkin and Matthews are going to tie for second place with 56, followed by Kucherov 54, Bedard had 51, Zibanejad 50, Jeff Skinner 49. Brick Wall is going to lead in wins with 50, and for shutouts, Carter Hart's going to lead the way with 8. And in the first round of the playoffs, Chicago is going to play the Edmonton Oilers. A couple years ago, they swept us in the conference final, so we need to get a revenge here. And yet again, we are back in the Stanley Cup Finals for a second year in a row, this time up against the Tampa Bay Lightning. Let's see if the duo of Brick Wall, let's see if Bendover and Brick Wall can go back-to-back as Stanley Cup champions. And yet again, the Chicago Blackhawks are going to go on and win the Stanley Cup as they defeat the Tampa Bay Lightning in 6 games of the Stanley Cup Final. And the Blackhawks are going to go back-to-back with the duo of Bendover and Brick Wall as we just absolutely dominated this season. Best team in the regular season, best team in the playoffs. We had the best player, the best goalie. And yet again, Bendover is going to take home the Conn Smythe this time, 18 goals and 44 points, an amazing playoff run. Also our captain, maybe the best player in our team. He's been performing a lot better than Brick Wall. And there it is, a Stanley Cup. Yet again, we got to win it on the road though. I would like to win a cup at home in front of the Chicago crowd. That would be amazing. And here comes our captain, Mr. Bendover, coming to lift the Stanley Cup for the second time in his NHL career. Second time in 2 seasons as Chicago yet again are Stanley Cup champions. For the playoffs, obviously Bendover is going to lead in goals with 18 and points with 44. Martins had 25 as what, a second-year player? A third-year player in the NHL, actually. David Perron had 24, Bedard only 22, Seth Jones 21. What did Brick Wall do here? 16, 8-0. No shutouts. Yet again, Bendover is going to take home all the major individual awards. Erik Karlsson is going to win the Norris. The Lady Bing to David Perron. The Conn Smythe is going to go to Bendover, of course. The Vezina is going to go to Brick Wall, his very first of his career, and the Selke will go to Sid the Kid Crosby. Connor Bedard now is up to a 96 overall. Ben still a 94. David Perron is finally dropping. I mean, he is 39 years old. And it looks like we lost Martins in the off-season. We didn't re-sign him. What is going on, Chicago? That makes our team significantly worse, honestly. Defensively, Korchinski's an 85. Seth Jones, 90. Brick Wall is back up to a 99 overall. Damn, I'm actually so sour about losing that Martins guy. Now, Chicago is still going to do very good in the regular season as we go 50, 25, and 7. Good enough for 107 points on the season. Best in our division, and we were the 4th best team in the entire NHL behind Toronto, New York, and Buffalo, who actually went on and won 56 games. A very nice Buffalo. Bendover is still going to dominate, 57 goals and 118 points, followed by Bedard's 108 and 50 goals. Perron still had 86 points. Seth Jones 68, Lucas Reichel 63. Brick Wall is going to go 37, 19, and 5. 6 shutouts, and not the greatest stats. I mean, a 919 save percentage is not bad. Bendover, Draisaitl, and McDavid are all going to tie for the league lead with 118 points, followed by Kaprizov's 111. Cale Makar had 109. Bedard 108. Matthews was up there. And then for goals, Kaprizov's going to lead the way with 59, followed by Bendover's 57. Matthews had 57. Draisaitl 53. Robertson was up there. Bedard, McDavid, McKinnon, and Jeff Skinner. Brick Wall is not going to lead in wins. That would be Devin Levi. And for shutouts, Devin Levi is also going to lead with 7. Brick Wall would come in second place though. And in the first round of the playoffs, Chicago is going to play the Anaheim Ducks. And yet again, the Chicago Blackhawks have made the Stanley Cup final, 3rd time in 3 seasons. This time we're up against the Boston Bruins, and we go on and three-peat with the greatest duo of all time in Brick Wall and Bendover. And the Chicago Blackhawks are the first team to three-peat in the modern era as they go back to back to back, 3 straight Stanley Cups on the backs of the duo of Bendover and Brick Wall. Also cannot forget Connor Bedard. He's a pretty high overall himself. He's even losing one of our best players in Martins. I believe he was like a 92 overall last season. We lost him in the offseason, and we still are going to go on and win the Stanley Cup. And for 3 years in a row, Bendover is going to take home the Conn Smythe. 16 goals and 27 points. A very dominant playoff run as the Stanley Cups just keep on coming, baby. We also straight up dominated Boston in 4 games. We swept them. It was not even close. We straight up violated them. And here comes our captain, Big Ben, yet again coming to lift the Stanley Cup for the 3rd straight season, as Bendover, Brick Wall, and the Chicago Blackhawks have three-peated. The first team to three-peat, I believe, since the New York Islanders back in the 80s. Now, for the playoff run, of course, Bendover was very good. Not as good as he usually is. I mean, only 27 points in 21 games. Still good nonetheless. Bedard also at 27 points. Hall 25 and 10 goals. Now, for Brick Wall, he's going to go 16-4-0. 1 shutout and pretty good stats across the board. Bendover is going to take home the Ted Lindsay, Art Ross, and Hart Trophy, while the Maurice Richard is going to go to Kaprizov. Norris to Cale Makar. Lady Bing to Kaprizov. Of course, Conn Smythe to Bendover. Georgiev is going to win the Vezina, and the Selke will go to Elias Lindholm. So Connor Bedard is still sitting at a 96 overall. Bendover obviously still a 99. And we picked up this John Del Monte guy, 91 overall, 22 years old, medium elite potential. I mean, this guy is really good and it's still very young. We also have Lucas Reichel here. Zach Hyman's on the team. Defensively, not much has changed, honestly. And Brick Wall is still a 99 overall as our starting goalie. So yet again, Chicago is going to dominate the regular season as we go 54, 22, and 6. First in the Central, and we were the best team in the entire NHL, followed by Vancouver. Buffalo was up there, Edmonton, New York, and Colorado. Bendover is still going to be putting up numbers as he scores 76 goals and 136 points, followed by Bedard's 129 and 59 goals. Del Monte had 82, Taylor Hall 60, Seth Jones 59. Brick Wall went 43, 18, and 2, 7 shutouts and pretty good stats. I mean, they're not the greatest, but they're not bad either. Yet again, Ben is going to lead in goals with 76 and points with 136, followed by Bedard's 129. Makar had 118. McDavid 103. Rantanen was up there. Your mom's a hoe had 99. Adam Fantilli had 98. I really never see him in any simulation, so it's good to see him here. Now for goals in the NHL, other than Ben, Bedard is going to lead with 59, followed by Clay Sans 53. Kaprizov was up there. Kachuk, Kyle Connor, McDavid, and Ovechkin. And in the first round of the playoffs, Chicago is going to play the Nashville Predators. And yet again, for 4 years in a row, the Chicago Blackhawks have made the Stanley Cup Finals. This time we're up against the New York Islanders. Can we actually go on and tie the New York Islanders from the 80s with 4 straight Stanley Cups? And unfortunately, the New York Islanders are going to put an end to our Stanley Cup run as they beat us in 5 games in the Stanley Cup Finals. I mean, 4 straight Stanley Cups, winning 3 of them is not bad whatsoever. It would have been nice to win 4, but it's whatever, I guess. Bend Over is going to take home yet again every single major individual award. The Norris is going to go to Cale Makar, the Lady being also to Makar, and the Conn Smythe to Matthew Barzal. The Vezina to Dustin Wolf, and the Selke is going to go to Martins, our former teammate and now a member of the Pittsburgh Penguins. So heading into the next season, our team is pretty much the same, except for the fact that we picked up Adam Fox in the offseason, 93 overall, 31 years old. I guess the computers have been cooking in the offseason. I mean, you can't get much better than that defensively, honestly. So the Chicago Blackhawks are still going to be very good as we finish second in the Central, going 47, 30, and 5. Also, for the entire NHL, we were not even close to like a top 10 team. Actually, we were 9th in the entire NHL, which is not bad. Now, for some reason, Connor Bedard is going to lead our team in points with 97. Bend Over only had 49 goals and 88 points, by far the worst season of his career. That is so awful, dude. He's still a 99, can't even put up 100 points. Adam Fox had 71, Del Monta 68, Ronta had 56. What did Brickwall do here? 39, 23, and 5, 2 shutouts, and not great stats, honestly. Leon Draisaitl is going to lead the NHL in scoring with 121, and for goals, it's going to be Austin Matthews, who scored 60 goals on the season. He's also on the New York Islanders, and somehow we lost to the Arizona Coyotes in Game 7 of round number 1, as the Colorado Avalanche go on and win the Stanley Cup, beating Buffalo in 7 games. Blood-Off is going to win the Ted Lindsay and the Hart Trophy, while the Art Ross to Leon Draisaitl and Maurice Richard to Austin Matthews. The Norris somehow is going to go to Evan Bouchard, the Lady Byng to Barzal, and the Conn Smythe to Mikko Rantanen. The Vezina to Dostal, and the Selke will go to Elias Lindholm yet again. So the only change over the offseason is Brickwall now is down to a 98 for some reason. I mean, I guess he did not have the greatest season. He's still only 29 years old though, very young in his NHL career. Bend Over, still a 99. So yet again, Chicago is going to dominate the regular season, as we were the best team in the Central, winning 49 games, and for the entire NHL, we would end up being 4th, only behind the New York Islanders, Vancouver Canucks, and Florida Panthers. Bend Over is going to have a bounce-back season, scoring 58 goals and 125 points, followed by Bedard's 104 and 46 goals. Adam Fox at 78, Lucas Reichel's 72, Del Monte 63. Now for Brickwall, he went 44, 20, and 6, 3 shutouts, and pretty good stats across the board. Bend Over is going to lead the entire NHL in goal scoring with 58 and points with 125, followed by Sam Reinhart's 110. Matthew Tkachuk was up there, Jack Eichel, and Connor Bedard. Now for goals, Jack Eichel's going to come in second place with 55, followed by Matthews 54, Rantanen 52, and unfortunately we lost in round number 1 to the Flames as the Edmonton Oilers go on and win the Stanley Cup. Bend Over is going to take home the Selke, Ted Lindsay, Maurice Richard, Art Ross, and Hart Trophy. The Norris to Quinn Hughes. The Conn Smythe is going to go to Leon Draisaitl, and the Vezina to Demko. So luckily, our goalie Brickwall is back up to a 99 overall, as he should be. He's the best goaltender in the entire league, and Bend Over obviously still 99. He hasn't dropped one bit. Chicago is still going to dominate the regular season as we finish first in the Central, going 57, 21, and 4. We would also end up being the second best team in all of hockey behind the Buffalo Sabres. Mr. Ben's going to have a monster season, 84 goals and 152 points, followed by Connor Bedard's 122 and 50 goals. Actually, 51 goals. Ronta had 86, Fox 65. Brickwall is going to have basically the best season of his career so far, as he goes 53, 14, and 3. 1 shutout though, and pretty mediocre stats, honestly. Now for the entire NHL, Bend Over is going to lead in goals with 84 and points with 152. Connor Bedard was up there, Nick Suzuki, Michael Misa, Elias Pettersson, Brunette, who is this Dorian Brunette? Now on the goal side, Tage Thompson was up there, Matthews, Bedard, McDavid, and Patrick Laine, who literally just got healthy scratched in real life. What is going on, Laine? Is it because of OG Fortnite? I don't even know how this happened. I guess I got caught lacking, but the Chicago Blackhawks are going to go all the way, winning the Stanley Cup yet again, as we defeat the Buffalo Sabres in 6 games in the Stanley Cup Finals. I thought I saw that we got eliminated in the very first round. I don't know, I guess I'm seeing things. But we made it all the way, our 4th Stanley Cup of the video. I mean, for the playoffs, Bend Over is going to have 20 goals and 32 points in 21 games. Bedard had 28 and 13 goals. Adam Fox, 24. What did Brickwall do here? He was 16, 15, and 0. Only 1 shutout, but very good stats. I mean, a .930 save percentage is crazy for an entire playoff run of 21 games. games. Yet again, Bend Over is going to take home all the major individual awards. Quinn Hughes, the Norris, the Lady Bing to Michael Misa, the Conn Smythe, of course, to Bend Over. The Vezina is going to go to Devin Levi, and the Selkie will go to Timmy Stu. So for the final season of the video, Mr. Ben is still going to be sitting at a 99 overall, as well as Brick Wall, who is loaded with X Factors right now. So for the final season, Chicago is going to end up finishing 44, 25, and 13. Good enough for third in the Central. For the entire NHL, Buffalo was the best team, winning 60 games. Chicago is way down here, top 10 in the NHL is not bad at all. Bend Over is going to have a great season, 67 goals and 116 points, followed by Bedard's 114 and 46 goals. Ranta had 91. Only 7 goals though, as a centerman is kind of weird. Lehtinen had 67. What did Brick Wall do here? He went 35, 19, and 9. 2 shutouts and not great stats at all. And of course, Bend Over is going to lead the entire NHL in goals with 67 and points with 116. And we would end up losing in the conference finals in Game 7 to the Oilers as the Buffalo Sabres go on and win the Stanley Cup in the final season. Now for the awards, Bend Over is going to take home the Maurice Richard and the Art Ross, the Hart Trophy as well, but the Ted Lindsay is going to go to Connor Bedard. The Norris, the Rasmus Dahlin, Sebastian Aho, and the Lady Bing, the Conn Smythe is going to go to Peyton Krebs. The Vezina to Ann Noonan, and the Selkie will go to Matty Beniers of the Seattle Kraken. And that is going to do it for this video, boys. If you enjoyed it, make sure you leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more just like this. There you go. I have created the greatest duo of all time. They made 5 Stanley Cup finals, winning 4 of them. Very dominant stats across the board. I mean, Bend Over was a lot better than Brick Wall, but Brick Wall still got a Vezina during the video. Let me know in the comments what I should do next. Thank you all for watching, and until next time, don't be silly. Wrap your willy.